Welcome to the Bruins Benders Podcast, Season 2, Episode 39 with Maddie and Smitty. Benders in the News, brought to you on the Inside the Rink Podcast Network. InsideTheRink.com is your one-stop shop for all your NHL and ECHL news, insight, and analysis. Follow on Twitter at inside_the_rink. Download the Inside the Rink app. And subscribe to Inside the Rink's YouTube page to watch our episodes. Smitty will tell us about how you can sign up for ESPN Plus.
Yeah, you can sign up for ESPN Plus by going to the Inside the Rink website. Go to insidetherink.com/ESPN and sign up today. I have ESPN Plus. I love all the Major League Baseball, soccer, college sports, UFC, and much, much more. So sign up for ESPN Plus at insidetherink.com/ESPN.
So tonight it looks like the NHL playoffs will conclude as the Golden Knights of Vegas lead 6-1 at the end of 2 periods of hockey.
Yeah, you called it too.
I said Vegas in 5, didn't I?
You certainly did.
I did. I did say Vegas in 5 because I just thought that Florida was going to run out of gas. They had a little bit of a break until this one, right? I think they had a couple extra days off. Thought they'd lose a little bit of mojo.
Yeah.
And Vegas is really good.
They're really good, and they play tough defensively. I don't know if you've seen it. We've talked a little bit about it with the Bruins team, that maybe they're a little undersized defensively. Every single defenseman on Vegas is 6'1" or bigger.
Yeah,
Every
right.
single one of them.
Right. And we've talked about that in the past.
And they're strong and they're physical in front of the net. Yeah. And they've doled out some big hits. Matty Tkachuk now looks like he's probably been banged up for the last game and a half or so. Kind of a shell of himself, and he's their engine, he's their heart. And with him not at full strength, Florida just doesn't have the same mojo and the same compete that they had previously. And Vegas is just pouring it on at this point.
Yeah, and I think we talked about how the Bruins had that tough defense back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why they haven't been able to win since then, is because their defense, I just don't think is tough enough to.
They're not really. Yeah, they're not really nasty enough. There's obviously there's different kinds of toughness about how guys handle adversity and mental toughness, and then there's fighting through injuries and that kind of thing. But the Bruins need the toughness in front of their own goal, in front of their net. And in the corners is where they kind of lack that physicality and that toughness, and it shows in the playoffs. So they need to maybe do some upgrades there to get a little bit better in that area if they want to move further along in the playoffs.
I wonder if they watch this and they see how Vegas beat Florida. And I wonder if they see that that's a difference between their defense, because they've been really about puck moving defensemen for a while now with Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what he likes, and they've gotten away from the McQuaids and the Kevin Millers and those types of guys for the most part. So I think that I wonder if at some point they just realize, maybe we need to be bigger and stronger and tougher on defense for when it becomes postseason time. So hopefully, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe now they don't have the resources or the money to make those types of changes. I don't know, but instead of getting the Lindholms and those types of guys, maybe get some tougher guys and some stronger guys in their own ends. All right, 7 Chirps is sponsored by Lobster Brewing, Lobster Brewing and Tasting Room in downtown Woonsocket, Rhode Island, specializing in small batch ales and lagers. It's open 7 days a week. Use the coupon code SPORTS to get 10% off your online order. Go to lobsterbrewing.com. Follow them at Lobster Brewing for new beers and events on social media. And chirp number 1, how many Hall of Fame candidates are in this Stanley Cup final, do you think?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I would say Kessel is, even though he hasn't played.
Yeah, I think Kessel is. I mean, I think Eichel is. I think Tkachuk is. Stone's probably on the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. Peter Angelo might have an outside shot. He was pretty good with St. Louis. I think he won a Norris there, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So he has a chance. Florida. I mean, other than Tkachuk, maybe Ekblad. but
Yeah, that's pretty slim. I mean,
yeah,
if you're thinking back to the previous ones, I mean, obviously Crosby and Ovechkin and
yeah,
all these guys that have been and won the cups, Kane and Taves and
yeah.
some
Malkin,
surefire guys, Malkin.
Letang,
Um,
probably.
yeah, but then this Stanley Cup kind of lacks that star power kind of thing. Obviously Eichel's starting to show that he's really the star that people thought he might be.
Hmm.
In a Selke candidate type of play too. I mean, he's showing that he can play 200-foot game and all that. So he may be a Selke candidate down the road as well, which would help his. His
Barkov's
ownership
another
as
guy,
well.
maybe with Florida
Yeah,
that could get in there because he's a Selke caliber guy too, and
yeah,
plays a good 200-foot game and puts up points offensively. So
yeah. But it's interesting to see who those Hall of Fame candidates might be, and they're going to be announcing the Hall of Fame for 2023 in about a week or so, I guess, a little over a week, and it'll be interesting to see who makes it in that group. And Alexander McGillney still on the outside looking in,
unbelievable.
slightly better everything than Paul Correa, who made it in 2017.
Hmm.
So I just can't believe he's not in, but we can talk about that in a second. Chirp number 2. Ray Ferraro says that the reverse hit is interference every time. He was referencing the Barbashev hit on Gudis. Do you agree with that?
I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, doesn't have the puck and he's not playing the puck, but the guy that's coming in is trying to hit him. So,
Right.
I think you could call it bracing for the hit, and he's bracing in a way that he's creating contact with the guy that's coming to hit him. So I really don't have a problem with it. I really
No, I
don't.
don't. In fact, I think I advocate for it as a way to protect yourself from getting hit from behind.
Sure, absolutely.
Like I think you need to allow that thing so that guys aren't just barreling into people from behind, especially in the open ice. I don't have any problem with it either. I think, again, if he's coming to hit you, and I really don't think you should be called for interference. Basically, protecting yourself.
Yeah, I mean you are, and I think Ferraro is just pissed because one of the very first instances of that hit was Peter Forsberg dropping Ferraro like a bad habit on a reverse hit, and he was like, "Hey, where did that come from?
Right.
Where did that freight train come
so
from?"
I guess it is interference every time in Ray Ferraro's mind.
Yeah, when Ray Ferraro's on his ass,
Right.
yeah, it's interference every time. So,
Yeah.
good for Peter Forsberg, though.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Right?
Hey, talk about a great player. Right?
Yeah,
Peter
absolutely.
Forsberg was one. Chirp 3, what is the first domino to fall for the Bruins this offseason? What
Well,
happens first?
that's a tough one. What do they sign a guy? Is it an extension? It's probably an extension. I'll say
You think
the
so?
first. Yeah, I'd say the first domino is going to be Jeremy Swayman's RFA contract. That's what I think it's going to be.
I think it could be an Allmark trade / Swayman extension.
Oh, is it?
I think
So those combined.
Trade, combine that thing so that they have the room, because right now they're right up against it.
But I think in the off season, they're allowed to go.
Over.
Yeah, you can go over, and then you have to be compliant by a certain date.
Oh, right. So you're saying Swayman
Yeah.
RFA status. So yeah, Swayman. I'm going to say? I'm going to say Frederick. Frederick's first because it's probably cheaper, and it might be a little bit easier.
I've heard some rumblings that Freddie might get an offer sheet. Can you believe that?
Are you shit? I mean, look at of all. I mean, lately in the NHL, there's no offer sheets because teams don't want their guys getting scooped and offered. So there's this gentleman's handshake thing going for the last few years.
Well,
RFAs just don't get signed.
Yeah, well, until Carolina did it with Kotkaniemi away from Montreal.
Right.
And they signed him to that huge offer sheet, and everybody was like, well, that guy's like a third or fourth line player. What are they doing? And he still is like a third or fourth line player, but he's getting like 6.875 or something now. It's like ridiculous. Unbelievable.
He was a fourth liner with Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not that
So
good.
If somebody wants to give Frederick an offer sheet and give us, a bunch of draft capital to take Freddie.
What do the Backstreet Boys say? Bye, 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 bye. Yeah,
I think that's in sync. But but fine. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I say,
if
and you,
somebody wants to give us 3 firsts to take Freddie,
oh,
sure.
fuck, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I don't know anyone, even the most devout Trent Frederick ball lickers would absolutely take that. I mean, how would you not? I mean,
I
that's
don't know. I feel like if you asked some of the Freddie stands out there, whether they would take 3 first-round picks or keep Freddie on the Bruins, they're keeping Freddie on the
oh
Bruins.
my goodness. I mean, thank God they're not GM. Because
Well,
look,
yeah,
I mean, Freddie had a had a great year.
he
Like,
did. He
we
did.
would probably call it a breakout year after
Yes.
we completely shredded him
Yeah.
and then said he was not an NHL player
We did do
last
that.
season. Yes,
Correct.
we did. And you know what? I think there's somewhere in between. I don't think it's last year, and I don't think it's the year before. He lies somewhere in between. And these people talking about possibly saying that he might be able to be a top 6 center, a top 6 winger to replace someone. No way in hell. I mean,
No,
he's
I
still a
agree.
bottom 6 guy, and I still think he's a winger and not a center. So,
Yeah, I don't think he's a center.
so if that's the case, he's a less than $2 million player. If he's a bottom 6 winger, then he's not someone you overpay for.
No, he
He just
isn't.
isn't.
He isn't.
So
And
I,
I
so I, you know,
I feel like that he probably is more where he was last year. I think he can break out and be, a 15 to ish goal scorer, 20,
sure,
maybe
right.
at his ceiling. But that's certainly not top 6 material.
No,
But he can be, a pretty valuable, third line guy.
sure,
Um,
yeah,
but
that's fine.
but if you're going to give me 3 first-round picks to sign him away from me, I'm going to take the 3 first-round picks
Oh my God, I'm taking that. Who
all day
the
long.
hell? I think I
So
heard what Colorado was interested, maybe.
Colorado was interested, and I thought there was someone else. I thought there was another
Oh,
team
is
too.
St. Louis is the hometown
Yes,
team?
I believe
Okay,
St. Louis.
okay. So I just don't think I don't know how you could give up that much for Trent Frederick. I mean, this guy's a bottom 6 guy. Like I just if again, and I'll tell you what, even if it's not, I mean, is that what it is? Is that what you have to give up to sign an
I don't
RFA?
know. There's probably levels, so he probably doesn't reach the level of 3 firsts. But
So what? So what would? So okay. So what would you take then? Just hypothetically, what would be like the baseline of? Okay, if they sign him and they're offering this or whatever, then you just match it. Like what's the baseline of what would you take in return?
I think you need a first because he was a first. So
Yes, you'd
I
take a
think
first.
you would get at least one first. I think, and then I'd want something more than that probably. I mean, if I'm just swapping first for first, I would rather have Frederick, a guy who I know can score 15 to 20 goals in the league and is an NHL player now. You know what I mean?
True.
I
Right.
don't want to
True.
I don't want to draft a guy who may or may not turn into something.
Right.
Um, so
Right.
I
True.
feel like, if you're going to give me 2 firsts, I take it.
Right.
If it's 1 first, I probably re-sign Freddie.
Right.
But there's a line there somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it's a first and a second. I'm seriously considering it. Tell you that.
I tell you what, if it's a first and a second, look, I take it. Even if you're playing the Frederick was a first rounder game, he's a bottom 6. He's a bottom 6 forward.
Yeah.
Like I take a first and a second for him. Yes, I do. Like, I mean, yeah, he was a first rounder, but I think we're past. He's 7 years in the league. We're past that. Like, we're past that thing. I think it's more of what he is. Like, he is what he is, and
Yeah.
that's what he is. And I take a first and a second in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think St. Louis is doing that. Don't they pick 10th? Like, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, if they pick 10th and it's a first and like we get there first, like they should
Oh my God!
absolutely
Fire
jump on.
everyone
Yeah.
to the sun.
Well, and
That's
absolutely
just.
jump on the Bruins should absolutely jump on that.
Oh,
Like
without
100%.
without a
100%.
doubt. I mean, no offense to Frederick, but I mean, if you go back to last year's episodes and you fast forward to now and talking about this, it's like you never thought that would happen.
Well, maybe if we keep shitting on the guy, he just keeps scoring more and more goals.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
that's
he'll be a
kind of
30 goal
a
scorer next year.
yeah. I mean, that's you're not an NHL player, Trent.
Right. We got to bookmark this. We wanted to let him go to
Yeah,
whoever wanted to sign him.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Use it as fuel, Trent. Use
Yeah.
it as fuel.
Hey, score 30. Go ahead.
Yeah. Knock
All
yourself
right.
out.
Chirp 4, Bruce Cassidy told The Athletic he's relieved that the Bruins lost so his kids wouldn't hear that Cassidy was the reason they lost previously. Cassidy still summers on the Cape. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I mean,
That's the part of
that's.
the whole thing that people don't understand. Like, kids are rotten
Oh
individuals,
yeah, yeah,
that's the part you don't understand. Like, that a professional hockey player's kids go to school and he sucks,
yeah.
and
Your
their dad's
dad's
yelling at the
fault.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
dad's fault. You
Your
suck.
dad's fault. You
Team
suck. I mean,
sucks.
that
Everybody
shit
sucks.
happens.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. Sure
and it did
does.
happen to Cassidy's kids.
Yeah,
Took the brunt of it. You're a meanie. Your father's a meanie.
yeah.
You know.
So yeah, all that stuff. So I mean, good for Bruce. He's having a good year.
Yeah.
He had a good year, and he's having a great run. And it looks like they're going to win it here pretty soon.
Oh, sure.
Up huge in the going into the third. So,
Hmm.
yeah, good for him. And if you want to invite us down the Cape this summer, Bruce, I mean, we're around.
I might wander around the Cape, see if I can find the Cassidys.
Yeah.
Tell them how wonderful their dad is.
Yeah, certainly.
But yeah, how about tonight when Cassidy played the Misfits to start the game? The 5 guys on the original team. That's cool.
That's really cool. That's a really nice touch.
It really is.
And that'll be a really cool moment on the DVD when they are hoisting the cup up there and so forth. So that's a really cool thing. Really cool.
It really is. All right, Chirp 5. Is this the worst Stanley Cup final ever? Andrew Raycroft tweeted this out. Is this the worst one ever?
I mean, I don't know.
What
Something
was
like
the Carolina one? Carolina 06. Who they beat? Carolina beat the Jersey. No. Carolina beat who they beat in 06. That wasn't a great one. That wasn't one that I
No, I mean there's been some that are worse than this. I mean, there's been some sweeps and
there's been some pretty easy sweeps. Yeah. Like
I mean, who Calgary beat in like what was that, 91 or something?
Oh, Calgary won in they lost in 86 to Montreal.
87.
They won in 87.
88.
Yeah, one of those. Calgary did win because I remember Lanny McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that one. There was one with Carolina, and I can't remember.
They won in 89.
They won in 89.
Over Montreal.
Oh, they did beat Montreal. Oh, so they got the revenge. Okay. In 06, I can't remember because I remember watching.
That was in 6 games, and there was those games were all pretty close though, so probably not that one.
Yeah. Well, the Hurricanes, who did they beat? I can't remember who they beat. But they won 52-22 and 8. That was
They beat Edmonton in 06.
Oh, they beat Edmonton. Okay. Brindamore was on that team and won that cup with Carolina. I don't know. I mean, it's not great. I mean, and look, Florida's an 8th seed, and we kind of knew that this, could happen. I mean, they were really riding high there, and on the momentum swing, and then they met a buzzsaw in Vegas. I mean, and Vegas is battle tested, and they've had their ups and downs this year, especially with the goaltending.
Yeah.
But they seem to really rally, and they're very good, and obviously they're really well coached. And we talked about their defense; they're very well balanced.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of drama in this series. Like there hasn't really been a lot of.
There really has. I mean, there was a scrum at the end, but you knew at the end of Game 4 the thing was over.
Yeah.
So that was just a last gasp effort by the Panthers to start a brawl and try to stay in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there really wasn't that, there really wasn't that real hatred, and just didn't seem like the series got started that much. Like Vegas was really in control. It was pretty much the whole way. I mean, Florida dug out. They had a last-minute goal, and then similar to how they beat the Bruins, and then they won in overtime. But other than that, Vegas has dominated. So it really hasn't been that give and take in this series. All right, chart number 6. Damon Severson was traded to Columbus in a signing trade with New Jersey. 8 years, $6.25 per year. makes the Hampus Lindholm deal look even better and proves there is no buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I think so.
Correct. I
I
mean,
mean,
Lindholm. If you're comparing apples to apples here, Lindholm is a better player than Severson, and offers more. And I think it just shows that Lindholm's deal is a really, really, really good deal. And I don't see. Look, he had a broken foot. Has he been great in the postseason? No. Is this game fit for the postseason? Maybe not. But he's still a really high end player, making just over 6.5 a year. I still think it's a really good value, and I think you'd be kind of crazy. First of all, I don't think you can get value in return, the same sort of value, good value in return for him. And so you kind of lose that trade, and I'm not trading him to lose a trade, just to get rid of him.
no, you're not trading him just to get rid of him. If you could improve your club somehow by trading him, maybe you consider it. But yeah, he's too good and he's too valuable, and he was playing hurt. His game wasn't great in the postseason. It hasn't been, and
No.
you know he was maybe a little early in his career. He was a little better in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that just comes with experience and time. Like he hasn't, other than last year, he'd missed the postseason, a few years, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just getting back up to game speed in that situation and being healthy, number one.
Right.
So I'd be willing to ride it out,
Yeah.
and I think the contract's going to look really good in the next few years here going
Yeah,
forward.
I think so too. I really do. I think you're going to see more and more guys. I read about Brett Pesce. He's in the last year of his deal, $5 million. He's going to get north of 6
Sure,
every year, and
absolutely.
he's another 30-point guy. Like he's a good defenseman, but Christ, he's not. I don't think he's as talented as Hampus Lindholm is. So I
Yeah.
think if you keep as you move forward, you're right. The deal just keeps getting better, and hopefully he can stay healthy, Lindholm, and learn and have some motivation next year to come in and show that he can do it. So
hmm
we'll see. Chirp 7, if you had to choose one, who would you want? Because there's been a lot of chatter about it on Twitter. Would you rather have Taylor Hall or Tyler Bertuzzi?
I think you go with Bertuzzi. I,
Okay.
I I really like Hall, and I think he really adds an element to the Bruins that outside of a few guys they don't really have. They don't have
Yeah.
that speed guy, and he is incredibly skilled.
Yep.
And I think he really helps with entries on the power play. He does make some boneheaded decisions at times, but so does Bertuzzi.
Sure.
But Bertuzzi is younger.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a game that's more suited, I think, for the Bruins fans
Mm-hmm.
and also for the postseason,
Mm-hmm.
as he proved in this short time here with the Bruins. So I think if you're having to choose one or the other, I think you have to go with Bertuzzi.
Yeah, I think offensive production wise, it's probably going to be similar, the two
hmm
guys, and they both play left wing and so forth. I think you hit it with the style he plays. He could get under people's skin. He'll get into those frays. He's more the guy we talked about last episode that they need, like this guy in the scrum,
hmm
face washing guys and chirping at guys and bring a little bit of an edge to the thing.
Yeah.
And I think that right now they could use that more so than what Hall gives. Hall's a supremely talented player who relies on his talent and skill and skating ability,
hmm
and he really doesn't get into that whole. He'll play physically, and he's kind of a bulldog, but he's not going to be a guy who's going to get into that nastiness and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they need more of that.
They need more.
We've
Yeah.
we've talked about it, and the last few times that they've, the Floridas and the St. Louis, in the Cup final, like they just need more guys that are nasty on the ice, that play on the edge. Um, Guys like Hathaway who didn't really get to show it as much in the playoffs, I
Mm-hmm.
think, because Bruins probably play a little bit of a different style than the Caps
Right.
and don't turn them loose as much on the forecheck, I think, as he would like and Bruins fans would like. But guys like that, they need more of that and less of the, on the periphery skill, speed, going wide, that kind of thing. They need more
Yeah.
guys that are willing to get to the blue paint and just battle to put a puck in the net. That's what
Right.
they need.
That's what they need. Yeah. All right. DraftKings Sportsbook is Boston's hometown sportsbook, and it's live right here in Massachusetts. Bet local on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, All new customers will receive up to $200 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code ITR. You can now bet local on money line spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with the code ITR to get up to $200 in bonus bets to use. Now that mobile sports betting is live in Massachusetts, that's code ITR only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
If your loved one is experiencing problems with gambling, call 800-327-5050 or visit helplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist free and confidentially 24/7, 21 plus, physically present in Massachusetts. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA.
All right, beauties and benders for this week in our three beauties. Beauty number 3, Jack Eichel.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn until dusk.
BU's own Jack Eichel has been terrific in the playoffs. He caught some heat, obviously with Buffalo Sabres fans back in the day, but also with the Vegas fans early on in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack Eichel is becoming the star that people kind of thought he would be, and he's been really, really good and a great pickup for the Vegas Knights.
Absolutely. He's really seemed to come into his own. He's kind of shaken off this neck injury that caused him some trouble in Buffalo and led to him leaving there because of the disagreement on how he should handle the injury. So he's really kind of come into his own in Vegas, and Cassidy has him playing a more responsible defensive game as well, and he's really developing into a really, really good two-way center.
Sure, and 19 assists in 22 playoff games for Eichel. He's plus 14, playing a 200-foot Sucky-like level game, as John Butchergross said on Twitter tonight. Zone entries, deflected shots and passes, strong board play. He's just been a monster in the playoffs. And it'll be interesting to see at the end of this game who is the Conn Smythe winner. Will it be Hill, the goaltender, or will it be Eichel? Will it be Marchessault? There's a few guys there.
Yeah, and I hope it's Hill because I have a bet on DraftKings at plus 1,000 for Aiden Hill to win the Conn Smythe. So shout out to DraftKings, but let's pay me off, huh?
Yeah, let's pay Smitty his due. And I wish I said Vegas in 5. I wish I bet on.
Oh yeah, if you had bet that, you would have been. I mean, that's a big plus there. You could have been, could have been hitting the big money, rolling in it. Rolling in the
deep. Beauties number 2. Hey, the country of Sweden.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn until dusk.
The entire country, because they have this sex competition that they've decided. They decided that sex is a sport, and hey, I'm all about it. I love sports.
Yeah, sure.
And, I enjoy the sex. So
you know what? Yeah. I mean, I haven't visited Sweden, and but it's on the list now.
Sure. Yeah, sure it is. Yeah, Sweden is having a sex competition.
Sweden is on the list.
Can you bet on that in DraftKings Sportsbook?
Sure. Yeah. Gold medal.
Overseas.
Yeah. He got a 9.7, but a 8.5 from the Swedish judge because of the dismount.
Yeah, the dismount. Right.
Dismount killed him.
Maybe the odds changed because he had a cramp, a calf cramp. I've had those. Killer. Can't.
Just can't perform. Can't perform.
Right. It's just distraction.
Yeah, you gotta tag somebody else in at that point.
Right. All right. Beauty number 1, Apple.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn until dusk.
Apple did a tremendous thing. They have announced that they will stop autocorrecting swear words. It's about fucking time. True story. Contact fucking fuck.
Yeah. So I have because Apple was autocorrecting so many swear words in my text messages to duck instead of fuck. I put a contact in my phone call it with the name fucking fuck, so that they would not autocorrect when I said that, when I texted that. And I am a connoisseur of swear words. I swear all the time, every day, quite a bit. So this is a real win for me. And I'm very pleased with Apple for doing this for me, so I don't have to have fucking my contacts anymore.
Yeah, one giant step for mankind.
Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. And speaking of fucking fucks, let's go to some benders right now. And bender number 3 is the end of the hockey season.
A bender.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that that hockey is ending because obviously the two of us and all of you that are listening and following along like the sport of hockey, and we like when hockey is being played. So it's kind of a sad day that hockey is ending, but we look forward to the NHL draft and free agency and training camp starting up and then next season and hopefully the Bruins will have a good year and a good team, and we'll be back at it then. But we'll be covering you with all the summer, summer cooler, summer heater edition of the content, and so yeah, it's kind of a sad day.
It's there should be plenty of activity for the Bruins in the summer. The draft will be kind of a stinker unless they get back into it, but. Free agency. We have plenty of UFAs and RFAs, and also trade. I'm sure there'll be some trades, some buyouts, and some discussion about all those types of moves, and also Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, what they're doing, and hopefully that comes about here before. I would like to have it before free agency begins. So
before the draft and before free agency. Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of know where they are.
Yeah. So here we go with bender number 2 is the Bruins draft.
Bender.
Yeah, third round. We're going to start at about 93, I think it is. 92, 93, whatever that is. 11. No, that'll be third round. That'll be day 2.
It's like 93 or 4, I think, their pick.
That'll be like day 2. We'll have to scrum together. Maybe we can do the Bender's draft board. We'll figure markers.
Jesus.
That picks 100 to 150.
Yeah, we'll have to turn to the last page and find some guys. Yeah, I mean, Inside the Rink does a really good job of some draft spotlights on like the top 100 guys, but they've long since passed the Bruins guy in there somewhere between 90 and 100, and I think they're counting down into what are they in the 80s or further down now? 60s, 70s?
I think down in the 70s, low 70s, maybe even high 60s now.
Yeah, might be high 60s now.
Yeah,
but follow along. Go over to Inside the Rink and check out some of their some of that draft work and draft spotlights on some of those guys. It's really, really well done. So shout out to those guys who are putting that together. And the number 1 bender is Mr. Gary Bettman.
Bender.
In his media availability before the Stanley Cup final, this prick says winning the President's Trophy is not such a good thing. Ask the Bruins.
Wow.
Fuck off, buddy.
Yeah.
Right off.
Wow.
Too soon.
Wow.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah.
Talk about piling on an original 6 team. What an absolute prick.
I tell you what, the narrative that Bettman doesn't like the Bruins isn't helped with this comment.
No, it certainly isn't.
He didn't say this when Florida.
Nope.
With Florida last year.
No, he certainly didn't.
When they laid an egg.
No.
He didn't say that at all. But he did this time with the Bruins. And it's really, that's just typical. Gary, why don't you get your situation, why don't you get your ass out of Atlanta? Why don't you get your league right? Why don't we have games on TV where people can watch them without, password, fix your password, forget the password, here's your keyword, here's your secret.
Illegally stream.
Right, illegally stream to my buddy. Yeah, let's try that. We still have people on Twitter and Facebook. How can you watch the game tonight? It's not on ESPN Plus. It's not on TNT. It's not on this. It's not on that. Come on. Honest to Christ. Get your shit together. I didn't love those comments at all.
No. I mean, it's really kind of a poor look for him to say that about one of the franchises in the league, whether it's the Bruins or the Maple Leafs or even the Canadians. Right. It might be funny about the Canadians, but it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. And he's a prick for doing it, and I don't like him. And I didn't like him before, and I like him even less now.
You're right. All right, new summer cooler addition to the program here. The Benders in the News. This is a Some newsworthy items, not hockey, not particularly hockey related.
No.
But
people who are benders, people who are
benders,
who are idiots and morons,
yeah.
And just
And
people.
we found that in researching, there's plenty of them.
There
choose
is.
from. We have to
There
read
is.
them out actually.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of them, including this one here. Police arrested a cook at a Sonic in Espanola, New Mexico, after a woman took a bite of her food and bit into some cocaine instead. Get a little cocaine in your Sonic. First of all, I think Sonic sucks. Have you been to Sonic?
I've never been to a
Oh
Sonic.
my god, the one in Saugus. I've been to Sonic, and I just think the food sucks. I think the food, even the commercial sucks. The food sucks.
So the commercials do
And
suck.
I think the pictures of the food suck. I think that even the food looks bad in the pictures.
Well, that's not saying much because usually the pictures look tremendous.
Yeah, they
you
do.
know?
Right.
Even the McDonald's. You
Yeah,
look at a Big Mac.
You can spruce it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
GC.
particularly like Big Macs, but
Right.
you can look at a Big Mac and be like, oh,
Damn it, I'll
that's
eat
a
that.
pretty good looking burger.
Yeah.
But those Sonic things, that looks terrible.
Oh, it looks
No,
awful.
Nobody wants any of that. And now maybe you're going to be high half the time. I mean, who the fuck knows? You get pulled over for controlled substance or something. You go to Sonic
Why would you put your cocaine in the burger? Like, why would you waste your cocaine?
I don't know.
Sonic burger.
Do you think he was trying to roofie her, but doesn't know how to do it?
You're gonna take it out of the wrapper. Like,
Do you think he was trying to get her to be drugged up and maybe he could get with her?
Was it in one of those packets, like the little sugar packets? Like it was like in the packet still, like in the burger. Shake it.
Thank God, I hope not.
Yeah.
Maybe he was dealing drugs out of there.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
I think he was a coke dealer working disguised as a Sonic person, Sonic worker. Yeah, I think you got it.
There was a pizza place by the garden that got busted for cocaine sales, and I used to go in there all the time to get pizza, and there was always a line out the goddamn door. And I'm like, the pizza's good, but it's not that good.
Well, I'll tell you why it's good.
But yeah, they throw a few 8-balls in there with the pepperoni. There you go.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's good, because there's drugs in
Yeah,
it.
because there's drugs in it. Tell you why everything tastes good, because there's drugs in it.
Because there's drugs in it. Yeah, Espanola, New Mexico. If anybody's going by the Sonic over there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Greater Espanola, you know now where to go when you're looking for cocaine. So you don't have to just hit up some homeless guy on the side of the road. Hey, do you know where I can buy some drugs?
No,
doesn't Sonic have that thing with the arrow too?
Yes, they do.
It's like pointing, like finger? get your cocaine here.
right here. Yeah, I mean, Espanola has the
cocaine.
Yeah.
So there you go. Everybody head down to New Mexico and get some cocaine.
I mean, really, how convenient is that?
Yeah.
Drive up.
Sure.
Isn't it like a car hop too? Is Sonic a car hop?
Yeah, they have the roller skates, don't they?
Skates? Yeah, they come around the roller skates.
Yeah.
Drop my cocaine though.
No,
drop it.
Yeah, I'll have a number 3, a raspberry lemonade, and an 8-ball. Thanks a lot.
Do you have any crack?
Do you have any crack? Peter McNeely. Remember that?
You have any crack? Oh yeah. Okay. Woman mistook her super glue for eye drops and fused her eye shut.
Wow.
Yeah. Took the super glue, dabbed it right in the eyeball, right?
My gosh.
Right in the eyelids, and glues those son of bitches shut.
Son of bitches shut. Read a label, for crying out loud. Read a label.
And there's a picture of her with her left eye glued shut,
closed,
and she's in distress. Like, what are you doing? She's in distress.
Yeah. There's a reason why. There's a reason why that shit says keep away from eyes and mouth and stuff.
Right,
There's a reason why.
It's these people. It's not the
You
children.
can glue your fucking eyes together.
It's never
That's
the children
why.
who do this. It's
No,
the adults.
it's never the children.
No, it's never the 3-year-old who knows
No.
what super glue is. You asshole. It's you.
It's
who
you.
does the super glue in the eyeball. Yeah, that's not.
She thinks
I know what happened.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine? Yeah, with the eye drops.
Yeah. Oh,
fuck.
yeah.
And then
You
all
go
of a
to
sudden you're
open
like,
it, and
that's
you're
not
like,
eye
oh, wait a
drops.
minute.
That's not eye
Yeah,
drops.
that's
That's
not
not
eye
eye
drops.
drops.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a hot face cloth, like my mother used to
Jesus.
do.
Yeah.
Your eyeballs.
Yeah.
All right, a Finland man received a $130,000 speeding ticket for going 50 and a 30 because Finland fines are based on daily income.
Was it Tuca?
Tuca, 130,000. Yeah, I mean he made $7 million a year.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think it was
20,
Tuca.
20 over the limit gets you 130. When this guy must be making some dough, some hard
Telling you.
cash.
Tuca.
Yeah,
It's Tuca.
Tuca's in Finland.
He's selling a lot of those long drinks. Tell you that.
50 and a 30.
20 miles per hour over, and that is a
20 over.
big ticket.
That's a
That is a
that's a
big
old
ticket. It's Tuca. It has to be.
Yeah,
Has to be
I
Tuca.
would say that.
He's selling a lot of those long drinks. By the way, good shit right there. Long
I'll tell
drinks.
you what I tell you what I discovered this past weekend. Long drink is in the state of Maine. It's at the grocery store.
There you go. Now you're ready.
The regular and the cranberry.
I thought you were going to say you were mixing it with something else, and I was going to say, hook me up with that recipe because I'm down for that.
I'll tell you what, that would probably be. I should try to make some long drink concoctions this summer.
We should throw. I mean, you could probably throw some vodka in there, maybe some tonic water.
Yeah.
You could throw a splash of orange juice in the cranberry one.
Ooh, you could. Oh, you could. That's a pretty good idea. I might try that. That's a pretty good idea. All right, I was gonna put
Or a little Sprite, maybe.
On the docket. Yeah,
maybe a little
Sprite.
Little Sprite, a little lemon lime cranberry.
Really good cranberry ginger ale. Let's throw some of that.
Yes.
That bad boy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad at all. Not bad. Yeah. So those are your benders in the news for this week. And here's another bender. The Bruins broadcast team.
Yes. Did you see this?
I saw this. The 32nd out of 32.
Yeah, it was voted on all the different broadcast teams throughout the league, and the Bruins were dead last because everybody hates Jack Edwards.
Over 15,000 fans,
and
the Bruins were 32. Coyotes were 31. Like all the bad teams, Coyotes, Blackhawks, Ducks, were ahead of them.
Yeah,
and there was Jack Edwards. There's been so much talk about him.
Yeah.
And I really wonder what they'll do if he's going to come back or if they. I'm sure they have discussions with him. Like I wonder what that's going to look like next year. If maybe relax schedule, maybe put another guy in too, like do one of those partner things. Maybe have another guy do 30 games.
I could see something like that, a relaxed schedule maybe for him. Like he doesn't go on the road or something like that, maybe, or something like that. But they do need to do something because in the last few years he's really, whether it's through illness or whatever it is that's causing him to be kind of less not professional, but a little less competent at his job, whatever the case may be. There, he is not as good as he was a few years ago. So they really do need to do something there. I love the guy. He's kind of a happy idiot, but he's our idiot. So we can criticize him. Bruins fans can criticize him and love him. But when other people start to do it, it kind of bothers me. Because we have that that Massachusetts kind of loyalty thing there,
right?
Where we can shit on our own people, but other people can't. So it kind of bothers me there. But they really do need to do something with that situation.
Yeah, and they're not. They're not 32. I mean, Andy Brickley's pretty good.
Andy Brickley's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done some national things.
Right.
Like
they're not 30. How can they be 32 if he's he's been doing national stuff? Like they're not 32. I mean, I get it, but Jesus, 32. Like that's way down there at the bottom. I don't think that's fair to Brickley and Jack. The thing about Jack that gets me is that he's not really calling the action. Like,
no, that's what the problem is.
The action.
Yeah.
Like aside from the weird stuff and the stumbling on his words and the monologues and the pontificating, it's the fact that he doesn't follow the play and he doesn't describe the play, and that's what you need to do in announcing, and that's announcing 101. You got to describe the action to the viewer, and he's not. He's just yelling. He's just saying names as they get the puck, and that's about it. There's no real description of the action. So, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully they sort that out. And he's 65 years old, so maybe they are going to start that transition at some point. I'm not sure. The NHL draft is on June 28th and 29th. The Bruins will be selecting on the 29th. So be ready for that, and free agency begins July 1. Development camp is July 3rd to the 7th. The Bruins just invited one guy, Eric Parker from Bowling Green, 22-year-old defenseman. The roster should be coming out within a few days, I would assume. And some of those rookies that they have, those prospects that they have, will most surely be there this time. Brett Harrison missed it last year because of a shoulder injury. So I would be interested to see him performing there. So we'll see what that roster looks like. And that's about it for the Bruins Benders podcast. Thanks a lot for listening, and go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.